Good evening, our friends and viewers. Happy Sunday. I'm delighted to welcome you to the first episode of the Reading Leaders Corner Show, a program of the More Leadership Academy. And of course, this is our first episode for the month of June. The year is running so fast, I don't know what's pursuing it, but I hope that you are aligning all the goals for the year that you wrote down on January 1st with the year as it's running by. I'd like to welcome you to this wonderful episode of the Reading Leaders Corner Show. Tonight is another segment where we learn, where we extract some very powerful lessons that are shared to us by the very wonderful each of the months. And for this month, we are handling the tipping points, how little things can make a big difference. Malcolm Gladwell. And Fortune Review says that it is a fascinating book that makes sense way. And Seattle Times also says that undeniably compelling, terrifically rewarding. Gladwell has a knack for rendering complex theories in clear, elegant prose, and he makes a charismatic tour guide. I like to reviews that have been given so far, but then as we make entry into reading the book and then also sharing the insights with you, I hope that you're super pumped. As our guest reviewer, Blessing Dickson is so ready. Blessing ensure that she shares the powerful insight that's contained in this book. Blessing, happy Sunday, happy new month.
Happy Sunday, Love Day, and happy new month.
You have been a consistent following other people. Well, I'm glad to have you here on the Reading Leaders Corner Show. This is a program of the More Leadership Academy, like I mentioned, and I'm delighted to know that you've joined us again. We want to take attendance, but let us know that you've joined us. Let us know you are present. Let us know that you are here to learn more and help you reposition for the next couple of years in your leadership journey. So, Blessing, let us go into the review of this book.
The title of the book, The Tipping Point, How Little Things Can Make a Big Difference. The author of this book is Malcolm Gladwell, and I like to believe that he and I share the same career path because I'm a broadcast journalist, and before you become a broadcast journalist, TV, radio, you first have to start with reporting, writing, or the Washington Post from 1987 to about 1996. I've read, a lot. The book is enjoyable. As you read it, you get to, just enjoy it. The Tipping Point talks about a trigger, something that's a spark, something that, just changes everything in the course of time. And it's amazing. We are going to focus tonight on 3 rules from chapter 1. That is the law of the few, the stickiness factor, and the power of context. The law of the few again, the stickiness factor, and the power of context. There's a lot from this book.
Okay, so let's go to the introductory part of it before we proceed to chapter 1. So what has he said in the introduction? What do you agree with him? What are the things you don't agree? What are the things you think he could have said better?
Well, the author began the book, that's the introduction, by talking about a shoe brand known as Hush Puppies, and they had minimal return over investment, and they weren't really seeing the problem so far until a different approach surfaced, and that leads us to the law of the few. This group of young schoolboys began to wear their shoes, the brand known as Hot Puppies, and before you knew it, the celebrities, more persons began to buy the brand. Some persons said the trigger point, that is the tipping point according to the author, was these young boys wearing the shoes intentionally, going out and carrying this brand on their head. It just relates to the agenda setting theory of the media, which says that the media creates the agenda for our daily discussions. In this stage, the boys created the agenda. They created like a buying point, a selling point, a unique selling point, a shoe that lasts you for a long time, a shoe you can wear to work, wear to church, wear to anywhere. And this cost a return over investment for the brand called Hush Puppies.
When you said that the author is a journalist and you're a journalist, I almost felt jealous, but I didn't want to. I think I'm comfortable where I am. Okay, so for context, I'd like to define the word tipping point, the words tipping points. Like she had said, I just want to compliment her on what she said. The tipping point refers to the moments when a small change or action becomes significant enough to cause a larger, more important change or effects. It is a point at which a situation, a trend, or process suddenly shifts or accelerates, often unexpectedly. Now let's come home. Some months ago, if you have been friendly with the media, by media I mean social media, you would have heard this song, Go 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 Go. The song has been trending for a long time, but that song was not released shortly after, what's the name of this guy again? Brent Jota featured that song in his comedy skits. The song was released as far back as the 19-something, and I heard that the song has been there for a long time. Brent Jota just brought out the song, featured in a skit, and the song became trendy. And that was a tipping point for that song. It was when someone actually used it after a long period of time that other people begin to become aware of it. There's something like this. And for those who are using TikTok, Facebook, I mean, every reel that you just go through, they were just doing. In fact, there was even a dance step that accompanied the song. But what we are saying in essence is there was a point where something had to re-emerge, resurface, a resurgence of something. And that's what we call a tipping point. Another case in points, sometimes during the Champions League playoff, I think it was Barcelona that played, and Lamine Yamal scored a goal and gave an assist. At the end of the match, celebrating the match, was playing this song by Scales, Shake Body, oh yeah, Shake Body, that song like that. And he was dancing to that song. Before you know, the next week, everybody started playing that song. That song is as old as about 5-10 years ago, released by Scales. But because someone has brought it up again, you see the song had a resurgence. It resurfaced on the media and people started using it. Now, when we say tipping point, you must understand that there is already something that has been in play before there has to be a resurgence. Like we say resurgence now. Resurgence means that something has already been there before it resurfaces. So when we are saying tipping points in this context, you say how little things can make a big difference. It means that there have already been something in existence, and that something may have been little, and something triggers that thing, and it becomes very big, very significant. A case in point is that song I just used, Go 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 Go, which has been trending for. It had trended for over how many months until, like trends, it just elapses period time or window time. So what we are saying in the context of leadership, how do we place it? That is the conversation we are going to have now. What have been the issues we've had? She mentioned the issue of hush puppy shoes. Hush puppy is a variety of shoes produced in the United States. It wasn't popular. Kids started wearing it, and people saw it, and it was just innocently worn. But when people saw it, they felt like it was a trend. I could also cite an example when Cristiano Ronaldo wore sneakers with suits. Before then, it was an abomination to see someone wearing suits, a 3-piece suit with tie and then wearing sneakers. But because it was Ronaldo who wore it, people begin to, in this part of the world, even in weddings, people wear suits with sneakers. So that was a tipping point for that kind of dress code. So blessing. So let's go to chapter 1. What lessons are there for leaders? What do we learn? What has the author written?
The author has written a lot in chapter 1, and I'll just go straight to the 3 laws we are focusing on. He said for tipping points, for a resurgence to happen, for that spark, that ignition to happen, there are certain laws that must be put in place. And the first is the law of the few. The law of the few. And this law of the few basically talks about, you having a handful of people who are reliable, people who somehow matter more than the others. If you've read the book Animal Farm, you know the quote, all animals are equal, but some are more equal than others. Now, for leaders, you need your own people. There are people who should stand by you unequivocally, people who support your vision. And this was what those young boys did innocently. They never realized that wearing the brand Hush Puppies was selling it. But then this is what we mean by the law of the few. It's a giving process or system, according to the author Dan the others. He's talked about a lot of trends. If it wasn't Brain Jotter, a popular comedian, I'm not sure the song Go 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 would have gotten as popular as it did. But he had built a niche for himself. He had built a brand. So when he brought another person's brand, it was easy for people to buy into it because they already trusted him. So as a leader, the law of the few states that even when you are building your brand intentionally, look out for people who support this vision, who want to run with it with you.
Thank you so much. When you are building your vision, you must have your own people. And in every sphere of life, there are the people within a circle, and then there's a circle inside a circle. So who are your circle? Who are the people under your care? Who are the people who can run with your vision in your absence? Something very tragic happened some time ago. The chairman of Access Bank passed on, and he just founded Hobart Wigway, started a university. And to the glory of God, if you check on social media, the university is still flourishing, it's going on. And if you ask me why that is, I will tell you that it's simple because the owner of the school, the proprietor, had built a system of people who can run with his vision, even in his absence. So what we are saying in essence is, when you have a vision, do you have the people? So the few people that matter here, do you even have them in your circle when you have something you want to do, when you have people around you, everybody's calling you, sir, leader, my boss, my oga, if I arrived. Amongst all those people who are exclaiming, amongst all the people who are shouting, remember Jesus Christ. So many disciples, but when he wanted to pray, he called just 3. Let's go to the mountaintop. And even on the mountaintop, the people that went to pray with him asleep. So the point is, do you have your inner circle of people that you can trust? People can run with your vision. People who understand the things you want to do. People who can interpret it in the way you want to do. Yesterday in the class, we learned about leadership communication, and one of the key highlights I learned was that a leader who is able to communicate his vision must communicate in a way that the people find themselves in that vision, and the people should be able to interpret the vision to also capture their own interest. Now, when you are